It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's neworleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you because that's New Orleans and this is Happy Hour, a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common. Other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar today, we're at the fabulous Wayfare on Ferret Street, where unfortunately the sign is behind me, so I can't even see what it says. But they do have a 3-hour happy hour here every day. I remember that from last time.
That's accurate, yeah.
That's accurate?
Yep, keep going.
And the booze is half price.
You got it.
And so is the bar food.
Yep.
This
Bar
is the
fare.
voice of Bar Fare.
Is what it says,
God
yeah.
damn it, I'll have to do it again. This is Andrew Duhon, who's my co-host and prompt on today's show. Colby Fox is here as well. Hi, Colby.
How are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing, more to the point?
I'm very well.
And Katie Brasted, whose name is pronounced like wasted.
That's it.
How often do you have to tell people your name is Brasted like wasted?
I would say probably 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 times.
Yes.
And just before we started, like
Some
1
people are
second
just
ago,
too embarrassed to even say it when they see the spelling.
to say Brasted. Mm-hmm. Why?
I think they get the letters like twisted around and then they're too embarrassed to say the word.
What do you mean they get the letters twisted around? Are they like dyslexic?
I don't know, but
How do you spell it? B-R-A-S-T-E-D.
right.
It looks like Brasted.
Brasted.
That's what I
Doesn't
usually
it?
get.
Brasted. Like blasted. It's like the sort of wrong pronunciation of blasted.
Yes.
Brad.
Very harsh.
But where does it come from? What kind of a name is it? Scottish?
I think it's Dutch.
You think it's Dutch? Who's from Holland originally?
My husband's family.
Oh, it's your husband's, of course. You're a married person, so it's
I
his
know.
name. Oh, I see. So what's your maiden name?
Something that would be just really simple and everybody could say it. Keaton.
Keaton, like Michael Keaton.
Exactly.
Or Buster Keaton.
Everybody can spell
Yeah.
it. Everybody can say it.
You don't use it too much anymore.
No.
How long have you been married?
Well, it's my middle name now. So.
It is? Oh, you have a hyphenated?
Yes.
So you're Katie Keaton sounds pretty cool, actually, doesn't it?
I know.
Yeah. I like that. Do you like that, Andrew?
Yeah, it's
Katie
nice.
Keaton. That's a good name for a character in something, like a comic book.
That's true.
So
That's
how
what attracted Mr. Basted.
Brasted.
Brasted.
You think it
Basted's
was a
good.
name that attracted him first?
Why not?
Well, if you really want to know how we met,
Yeah, we do.
well, we met in a psychiatric hospital, and we got married in a correctional facility.
Wow.
Well,
And there's a story there.
there's got to be a story.
let's talk
Let's,
about
let's
it.
guess what it is. I would guess you were both patients in a psychiatric hospital.
That would be the normal first guess.
Yeah,
But-
and what the truth is, you were not something dull like you were a doctor or something. You're a psychiatrist.
We were both in psychology, and I was employed running a unit in a state hospital, and he was doing his an internship.
What? So you're older.
No, we're the same age.
What state hospital was this?
This was in West Virginia.
Have you been to West Virginia? Colby Fox?
Yeah, I've been to West Virginia. It's a good state.
What is that? Someone's getting a phone call.
It is.
Who's calling you?
Joe Toomey.
Let's answer it. Put it on speaker and see what he wants.
Yeah.
Is that
Seriously?
Yeah, put a sure
Okay.
thing. You have to hold it up to the microphone so we can all hear it.
Hello? Hey, Joe. I'm on a radio show, so you're on speakerphone.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe, what's up?
Is this a bad time?
Well, they wanted me to leave the phone on so they could just see who called.
Can I tell you what I'm calling for?
Yeah, it's up to
Definitely.
you, Joe.
Sure.
Hold it up to the
It's up to
mic.
you.
Wait, who's on the phone?
Who's all here?
There's Grant, Andrew, and Colby.
Katie, I just wanted to pass one thing along to you. I'm not sure why I'm on a speakerphone.
Oh, we're doing a radio show, and I'm doing the radio show at the Wayfare, and
Wow.
hope to help promote our event coming up
Oh,
on
tell
February
him
2nd.
tell him about the half-price bar food.
Can you just call me? I'm going to call you back.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I'll do that.
Okay,
Bye,
Joe.
Joe.
See you, Joe.
Bye.
You could have told him about the half-price bar fare.
Now we'll never know.
Oh,
And also there's half-price drinks
he'll figure it out.
from 3 to 6 every day. And then there's a brunch on the weekends. Does he know about that?
We didn't.
Joe
know.
Toomey?
No, but I'll tell him that when I call him back.
Yeah, okay. Let's call him back now. What's he calling about, do you think? Something bad. It sounds serious, doesn't it?
No, he's on our host committee for a fundraiser that we're doing that's coming up on February 2nd.
Right.
And so I called him earlier today to just
I know
thank
about
him
that.
for buying patron tickets.
Oh,
So-
that's nice. So he's got some money, Joe Toomey. So I read about this thing. It says it's called the Save Our Sponge concert.
Exactly. It's on World Wetlands Day.
World Wetland Day. We don't know anything about this yet, but maybe should we put in some sort of... Well, let's get back to how you met your husband first, and then we'll talk about sponges.
Yep.
What do you think?
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
Otherwise, we're never going to get that story. So you were studying psychology in West Virginia.
Right. I was running a unit. And
Running a unit. What does that mean, running a unit?
running
Like drunks?
a section where like 30 people lived who were chronic psychiatric residents.
What was wrong with them, basically?
Primarily schizophrenia, and we were trying to like work with folks to try to get them back into the community.
We don't want them back.
Keep 'em.
We're going to keep them out there in West Virginia. What year was this?
Oh, many years ago. That was probably in 78, 79.
Oh, yeah, Nurse Ratchet days.
Yeah. So you were, what, how old then? Pretty young.
Pretty young.
When you were early 20s.
Yeah,
And
early
they put
20s.
you in charge of 30 crazy-ass people in a mental institution in West Virginia.
And her husband.
Now, he was only an intern,
Right, he was just an intern.
which is like the load man on the totem pole, even in the crazy farm.
Yeah, they did.
So what did you were in charge of these, would you say 20 or 30 crazy people with schizophrenia? And you were running the whole show there.
Well, I mean, it was a large hospital, so I only had 30. There were probably
30?
about 600 in the
Wow.
hospital at the time.
What did you have to do? You doing therapy or shooting them up with stuff or what?
I did some therapy, primarily working with the staff to work with the residents to teach them, life skills in order to be able to get out and live in a group home, live in the community,
And how-
learn to solve problems. And one of the things we did, which probably is not favorable to a lot of people, but we took out caffeine
Took it
from
out
the hospital.
out of the diet, out of people's diet.
Yes, and,
Okay.
and
Why would you think that would be unpopular with people listening?
everybody drinks coffee.
Especially if you're nuts, I would think. Well, there'd be very little else. I'm sure they didn't have alcohol there.
It became the new trade. Coffee became the new trade.
It's it. Look who's here. It's
Royal.
Khris Royal himself.
Khris Royal.
Hey, Chris.
Chris. How's it going?
Sorry, I'm late.
That's okay.
Don't worry.
We were
Happy
just
hour extends
We
for
were just
another
talking
hour.
about schizophrenia. Hey, this is all fucked up here now. Like, how do we do that? That'll be all right.
That's good.
Chris, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear everything.
You're good, okay. So come on in.
What's up?
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Okay, hang on. We'll just tighten that up. Okay, so this is Khris Royal from Khris Royal and Dark Matter,
What's up, dude?
one of New Orleans' greatest saxophone players of all time. Correct?
I wouldn't say that. But thank
Where
you.
have you been that you're so late?
At home working on music.
Okay, well, that's forgivable. Hey, talking of home, are you still dating Kristen? Is that all going? Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
She's one of our other favorites, Kristen
Right.
Bradford. How is she? Did she tell you to say hi to us?
Yes.
Oh, she did. Thank God. Otherwise, I would have been so insulted. Would you like a drink? Graham will get you a drink. Our fabulous producer, Graham DePonte, is over.
Sure.
What would you like?
Whiskey on the rocks. Jameson.
Ah, good man. This is Colby Fox,
What's happening, man?
and this is Katie Brasted, whose real name was Katie Keith
Cool.
when she was single, but she married this guy in 1978 or something. What year did you get married?
81.
81. So you just got up to the bit, I'll fill you in. Katie was running a mental institution in West Virginia where she was in charge of 30 people who had schizophrenia, and she was in her early 20s. Does that strike you as weird?
Not weird, but a little scary.
I would say so. So did any of them recover and lead healthy lives today? Or they all-
Well, I didn't stay forever, but they did get out into the community. A lot of them got out in the community while I was working there.
So this guy who you met, this Mr. Brasted, what was his name?
Bill.
Bill Brasted. That's a good name too. Bill Brasted and Katie Keith. And Katie Keith? That's got a good ring to it. So he must have looked pretty attractive compared to all the crazy ass people that you're Mixing. Says you spend all day mixing with people who are schizophrenic. You might be normal yourself, but that must rub off on you, doesn't it?
Well, if you live in a town with only one stoplight, you have to look for things to do for entertainment.
What town was it?
So we became fishing buddies. That's how I met my
That's
husband.
cool. Was he a good fisherman? Just to pass the
We
time?
did okay.
Yeah.
How did it go from baiting hooks to getting romantic? How do you make that move?
The way.
I don't even
Is
know
there a
how
good-
that happened.
You don't remember? That's going back a while.
It is back a while.
Right. And how's your own mental health now?
I think it's great.
Pretty good.
I'm here,
All right.
right?
We all think it's great.
Yeah.
We all think it's great.
I think the crazier you are, probably the more normal you think.
That's
so,
right.
see, did you say that before the show started that you mentioned that you were on television or something? Or did I mishear that?
Oh, you were saying, are you comfortable? And it's like, well, it's a lot more comfortable sitting here, having a cocktail and a conversation than, the anxiety with being on TV.
And worrying about your posture.
Yeah, because we don't know what you
'Cause
look
I
like.
don't-
Oh, you're
yeah.
on Facebook Live, though. That's true.
Nobody's watching that, though.
No, nobody. There's like 3 people watching it. So,
Oh, well, thanks for that.
what show were you on?
What shows have I been on? I've been on, the morning show and
Price is Right?
different. No. No.
So the reason that you're on these shows is you're the executive director of something called the Woodlands Conservancy. Did I pronounce that correctly? Conservancy, yes. What exactly is it? I can tell you a little bit about it myself. What is it? Where does it say that?
Where does it say what it is?
What it is, yeah. It was organized in 2001 as a non-profit land trust organization that has been working to preserve and restore some of the last intact forested wetlands in the greater New Orleans area.
Sounds great.
Did you know anything about that, Chris?
Never heard of
No?
anything.
Colby, you know anything about that?
I've done very little, but I'm glad it's happening.
Yeah, who knew there was wetlands in New Orleans at all? Andrew, did you know? You're an outdoors guy. You go
Well,
fishing.
yeah. I mean, you head to New Orleans East, and you can
Yeah,
find
that's true.
alligator roadkill
We're
right on
gonna
the
have
road,
to-
like on your
right
way to
on
slide
town.
down.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I hadn't thought about that. Then is that Orleans Parish still? Is that New Orleans?
Yeah, greater New
New
Orleans.
Orleans?
Yeah.
Okay.
I grew up out there.
You grew up in the East, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
What street were you on?
Right off a bullet on the street called Branch.
All right.
Yeah.
So that was an interesting part of the world back. This is before Katrina you grew up there.
Yeah, definitely.
So what years was that?
We moved from there like my senior year of high school, like 2004.
So you were there. So what? It's an interesting thing about New Orleans East is that there was this New Orleans proper, and then any white people who didn't want to live in Orleans Parish went and lived in Metairie, and any black people who had some money and didn't want to live in New Orleans moved to New Orleans East.
Well, before that,
The other
actually, when my
direction.
parents moved us out there, it was mostly white people. And then as I grew up, people began to move out to Slidell and Covington and stuff.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
So that was all white out there. Ever
Yeah,
since
back in
I-
the 80s, it just kind of shifted.
That's interesting. So you saw it change? You were there?
Yeah, definitely.
That's interesting. So why did white people leave there? Because there were too many black people showed up and they had to
I mean-
keep going? Or
Everyone says schools.
All right.
Yeah, that's a major factor. I don't know. I don't understand wanting to drive that far across that bridge every day.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't make sense to me.
No.
Traffic.
Well, it was cheaper,
Yeah, definitely.
I guess. What do you mean to go to Slidell? Well, New Orleans East is on this side of the bridge, though, right? On
Right.
this side of the Twin Spans. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's not that bad.
It's better than going across that bridge.
Yeah, yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's still traffic in the morning, though. We used to I went to school up this way, actually, right up the street at McMain. It would take us about an hour to get here.
Jesus.
So I can't imagine coming from across that bridge.
Yeah. So then your parents moved in 2004?
You had to move to Lakeview.
And then
Like a block from the,
Wow.
what is it, the 17th Street
17th
canal
Street.
that broke? That's a block from their house.
Were they still there?
Yeah, they rebuilt now, but when it happened, we had 15 feet of water. Yeah.
So you weren't living there then, though?
No, I was in school. I was in Boston.
Right. You went to Berkeley School of Music.
Correct.
I remember that, in Boston.
Yeah.
Hey.
Totally different weather systems
Yeah,
up there.
really. And how's everything going? Is Dark Matter still rocking along?
Yeah, actually, we played last night at the Blue Nile. We just had a residency this month. We played every Tuesday.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. Releasing some new music this week. We just dropped a single last month also.
Oh, really? Do
Yeah.
we have it here to play?
Yeah, I have it right here on my phone, actually.
All right.
Okay. We have to give that to Thomas and we can take a listen to something.
Cool.
We got something lined up?
Yeah, the song we're releasing this week is called Stepchildren. It features my friend Nigel Hall on keyboards from Lettuce.
Okay.
Let's see if I get this thing unlocked.
All right. We could actually take a listen to that right now. What do you think?
Sounds great.
Absolutely.
Katie?
I want to hear it.
Okay. And then we'd be really in good shape. Nobody will be down on me about anything. Because normally we somehow don't get around to playing music too late. And then
Well, whether or not people are down on you or not, I don't think you can judge just because you're playing a song early in the podcast. I think
apparently people want to hear the music.
that is a thing. That's
They don't
one
want it to
positive.
sit here for another 30
I'm
minutes.
just being realistic, right?
I'm with you. Normally we don't get around to it. We have, well, like now, for example, I would like to know something about this Woodlands Conservancy.
Yeah. Can we talk? Yeah.
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
an
I wanna
event
know
coming
more
up.
about
Where is it?
Well, we're on the West Bank. There's the little peninsula the peninsula on the West Bank that is essentially, well, it looks like your thumb. But the topper.
I know
the top,
Algiers Point.
Okay, well, go
Anything
further
to-
down. Go down General de Gaulle. Go over the
All right.
Intercoastal Canal Bridge.
Like Bayou Signet area.
No, like if you're going to English Turn
Okay, the other way.
There.
or
Okay.
going to Belle Chase. So you come to that peninsula, which is formed like your thumb, and the top part, the northern part, is Orleans Parish, and the bottom part of that peninsula is Plaquemines Parish. So we've been in that area is really sparsely developed, except for the 400 acres of wetlands that were filled to create the golf course community.
That's English Turn you're talking about.
Correct.
Okay.
So we've been trying to preserve what remaining forest and wetlands are left.
Who's we?
Woodlands Conservancy.
Then who is that? You and who else?
We have a board of about 13 people right now, and I have a biologist on staff, and I have
Full-time
a
biologist?
Yes, and a Vista person that I just got this year for the next 3 years.
What is this guy? Is super drunk.
Oh yeah, when we got here, he was.
Okay, someone take that guy out. So what do you mean by a biologist and a Vista person? What do either of those people do?
Well, a biologist. Well, I should probably start at the beginning, but
Sure.
okay. Well,
I
first
thought
of
this
all,
was the beginning.
well, right now we own 190 acres of forested wetlands in Orleans Parish, which is adjacent to English Turn, and we've been managing 630 acres in Plaquemines Parish, which is called Woodlands Trail. Has over 10 miles of trails, hiking trails, equestrian trails. They lead to a grouping of World War II ammunition magazines.
That sounds really
What?
cool.
It's free and open to the public.
Do you own
From
it?
dawn to
is this
dusk.
public or private?
It is. It's owned by Plaquemines Parish government right now, and we are in the process of trying to acquire that land to make it a permanent protection. We've been doing restoration work on the property since Katrina. And they've
Shouldn't the
been
government
managing-
be taking care of the land?
I think the government has so many jobs.
Well, one of them is protecting the people who live here, though, isn't it? I think
I-
Chris has got a point there.
I don't know. You hear about what's going on with the budgets, and I think maybe that's not at the top of the list.
Yeah.
I mean, this seems more important than building a wall.
Right.
I would think.
You would think.
But that's a question, I
Which
guess,
I
when you
said
have
is-
when you have a president who likes the idea of the jobs created by making another English Turn, loves golf courses,
Right.
and just it decided to sign some executive orders that had to do with loosening the elements of the EPA. So those all sound like things that your organization might be concerned about. So this is on a very cellular level. It's here. It's your tract of land. What can you do to defend yourself, so to speak, against the worst possible scenario?
Well, I think what's ideal about it is that we're a nonprofit land trust organization, so we own the property, and so therefore we can be proactive.
Yeah.
So even when the government can't, or let me say, isn't being proactive, we still can. That's our mission.
Yeah.
You're trying to save these wetlands from being destroyed or being developed or what?
Well,
Saving
people
from what?
I don't think people realize that the greatest wetland loss in has been in forested wetlands. And we've lost close to 75% of Louisiana's pre-settlement forested wetlands to development. You mentioned, New Orleans East earlier. There used to be like 7 major tracts of forested wetlands in the greater New Orleans area. Bayou Sauvage was one of them. There were some in St. Bernard. We read the study that was done like in 1980. Right now what is left is Jean Lafitte Park and the forested wetlands that we've been trying to acquire. Bayou Sauvage had significant saltwater intrusion and significantly destroyed a lot of that bottomland hardwood forest, which is forested wetlands. And so what we are doing is important. It's important to be proactive because that is your natural sponge.
If we've lost 75% of it, and why don't we just build on the other 25% and forget about it?
That's not good.
Why not?
Well,
75% of it's gone. It's not like we're going to save us. I mean, it's supposed to be a buffer against hurricanes, right?
a buffer and
25% isn't going to do shit anymore. So why don't we just give up and put up houses and golf courses?
Well, I guess my thought is it's like your buffer right now. Experts say that with the current rate of wetland loss and relative sea level rise, those forested wetlands that we are trying to, continue to preserve and restore will be the largest forested landmass between open water and the city of New Orleans in the next 35 to 50 years.
Right.
So
That's the only thing that's going to save us from being destroyed by the next big tsunami or hurricane. Is that what you're saying? 25% can save us.
I would put my bet on it.
Would you?
Well, I would put my bet on at least at reducing the amount or reducing, prolonging the amount of time. Prolonging the amount of time.
But we're getting pretty like focused now. Though a hurricane would have to come on a specific angle,
right,
to hit that 25. Or is that not right?
Well, if you look at what Hurricane Katrina did, if it had gone a little further more west, it may have had a different scenario.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at the NOAA images from what the hurricane did to the properties we manage, I mean, it looks like pixie sticks. And
Is that good or bad?
it is.
I'm not sure what pixie sticks is. That's the thing.
You don't remember pixie sticks?
Candy.
Do you know what
Sugar,
pixie?
come on.
What are they?
You know,
It's
this-
little
at
straws of sugar,
flavored
right?
sugar, yeah.
That you suck up?
No, you just pour it into your mouth, yeah.
Okay.
no,
Go
no.
crazy. No?
No, it's not that.
Oh, the game.
Not a pixie
the
stick?
game pixie.
That's a
The game
pickup
pixie
stick.
That's pickup sticks.
Okay.
Okay. Pickup sticks, right.
Let the record state, the pixie stick is a sugary...
Strike.
Pixie sticks
We were
is
on
a
the same
thing
page.
too, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to write that down right
Yeah,
now.
but pickup
Pixie
sticks, I get it, yeah. I see the image better, pickup sticks, yeah. Got
Pixie
it.
sticks versus pickup sticks.
Yeah,
Okay.
important.
I stand corrected.
So you're saying that there was destroyed.
So I'm saying it destroyed a lot of the canopy of the forest. But if you look at the West Bank, the damage from hurricanes on the West Bank, there was very little damage.
Well, it's
you
because
know,
the hurricane didn't hit
we
the
lost
West.
our roof. We had like $30,000 worth of damage in our house, but that was nothing compared to the rest of the city.
Right. But didn't the West Bank get spared? I mean, as you said, if it had gone in a different direction, the West Bank would have got flattened and Slater would have been fine.
Well,
It
I
has
guess
to go
it's-
somewhere. My question is, though, is it worth preserving the 25% of the wetlands that are left, given that it's all disappearing anyway, and 75% of it's already gone? Why don't we just put up houses?
I mean,
and-
I think the big deal that I learned about in school was, the fact that we diverted the Mississippi River, which was the freshwater source that kept the salt water from getting quite so far inland, and so when you divert that to one pipeline that dumps straight into the Gulf of Mexico, you end up with two things. One is that you have saltwater intrusion coming into the wetlands as opposed to freshwater from the Mississippi. You also have all the sediment from the muddy Mississippi, and you can look out from the French Quarter, look out in the river. It's a brown river by the time it gets down here. It's churning up all this mud and sediment that used to be dispersed over this wetland.
Making new land.
Right, and it's not doing that anymore.
That was the delta.
Right. So yeah, I think
what
that had to be the beginning of the
Definitely.
end, and without that, how can we do anything but preserve a place like you're preserving for a little more than
we should go for it then. We should try and preserve it.
Yeah, I think it's a
rather than put
refuge
up a
for
golf
wildlife would be a great reason, you know.
Right. It's not. Yes, it's just not hurricane protection.
Yeah.
It's also. You can see if you look at the NOAA images, the radar images. You can see over 4,400 birds leaving there during migration. So it's an amazing habitat for migratory birds and resident birds and wildlife. And now that we've lost some of our forested wetlands that are in Lower Plaquemines Parish, migratory birds, they have to go even further inland to refuel and have areas to stop off and rest and eat. So
I know the feeling.
if we want to continue to have this kind of culture in Louisiana where we have lots of wildlife and varieties of birds, we have over 163 bird species documented that use the forest that we manage. So if you're going to continue to have
163
that,
species of birds right there, right where you're on the West Bank.
correct.
163. That's extraordinary, isn't it? Did you guys know that?
No.
Sounds like a lot.
That's impressive. Okay, so anyway, suppose we wanted to support this thing. What is a Save Our Sponge concert?
The Save Our
That's on
Sponge
February
concert
2nd, by the way.
is on
February's coming up.
Exactly, next Thursday.
Damn, okay.
World's Wetlands Day.
2017, by the way, in case you listen to this after 2017, February the 2nd, which there's a fair chance it could happen. Okay, so
It's
you
going to
missed
be
it otherwise. Yes. Who's
February
playing?
2nd, and it's going to be at the Jazz Market in New Orleans. And Jason Marsalis is playing for the patron party, Jason Marsalis Trio. And
What exactly is the Jazz Market? Is that the place on Aretha Castle Haley Boulevard?
correct.
Okay.
And then following that, Henry Butler is going to be in town, and he's going to do 2 solo sets.
Wow.
And
That's cool.
people should come, and you can get your tickets at Eventbrite.
Okay, and how much is it?
The tickets range from $25 to $125.
Why would you want to pay $125?
Because you'd want to come to the patron party and have that
Okay.
intimate Jason Marsalis Trio experience.
And an open bar?
And food by Merrill and complimentary drinks
That's what I'm
the
talking
entire
about. That's
evening.
cool.
That sounds like a fun night.
Yeah. Chris, you played with Jason Marsalis, didn't you?
I played with him a few times.
Yeah. Is he a nice guy?
Yeah, it's awesome. He knows so much.
Who's not a nice guy?
Yeah. Okay, who's not?
Almost got me there.
Do you ever play with guys who you don't like, actually?
All the time.
Really? I thought everybody in the music business was pretty cool to play with. They're all musicians by definition.
Nah.
It's a good place for egos to just cultivate themselves.
Yeah.
You always think on the other side of it as a non-musician that it's such a great gig that if you could sit down there and play the saxophone in your place or the case or the guitar in your case or whatever it is, that you'd be so happy just do that for a lifetime. That you'd be a cool person.
Yeah, if only it was that easy.
Yeah. There are ambitions even for egos, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good place for
That's
cultivation.
disappointing, isn't it? That's kind of ruined the whole.
I mean,
cool
it's
it
not
is.
that dark. It's just like any other spectrum
just
of
life.
people, you know? You deal with people in any other business. I'm sure you
Yeah.
have the people you like and the people you don't. You know?
Yeah, you always think that because if you have the special talent to be able to do something extraordinary like play music, that you'd appreciate that and be humble and nice about it.
And send some people to the dark side.
Let's name some of them. Who are they? What's the worst instrument for ego?
Definitely trumpet.
All right, let me ask you this, Chris,
Okay.
because you did the Berkeley thing, and you spent time in clusters that were much bigger than New Orleans. Do you feel like coming back to New Orleans, you maybe run into a pool of musicians where maybe people have kind of stuck around and maybe haven't seen as many other people doing the same thing, so they don't get that chance for humility? Or did Boston kind of feel like the same sort
like
of
a kind
spread?
of like a big fish in a small pond
Yeah,
thing.
sort of, you know,
Yeah,
it's-
that happens down here a little bit.
Yeah.
Cats who
Uh-huh.
have been there their whole life and
Right.
been told their whole life that they're really, really, really awesome. Think they're the best. I'll come back home and I'm like, yo, there's other people around the world that are doing what you're doing.
Right.
That might be a little bit better.
Yeah.
So maybe you shouldn't have such a big head about it.
Sure. And, there's nothing wrong with never being the best. A comparison will cause you stress and anxiety the rest of your life with that kind of thing. But yeah, fair to say that there's, I think what Grant's leading to, the idea that if we compare ourselves to each other or like have a big head about it, you probably don't make the best shit you could make in your life if you just kind of, I don't know, I could be wrong, maybe you do, but
It's funny that musicians are competitive. I guess it's not funny to you if you are musicians, but it seems funny to us, don't you think? You expect everyone just to be in this for the music.
I think it can be elements of just, worry that your life's work, maybe you're not measuring up with everything that you're putting into your passion, and I don't know, what do you think, Khris?
I mean, no matter what your passion is, there's always a drive to be the best, so everything can be competitive, whether it should or not. I mean, I don't think music should be competitive, but it definitely is, especially when you have things like awards and stuff, and that gets into your head. Yeah. People are like, oh, you're the best of the beat.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't care about that,
Yeah.
I just want to be the best I can be.
Did you win the Best of the Beat award?
Yeah, I won it last. When was that? Thursday was the Best
This
of the
week.
Beat award.
Hey, congratulations. That's the only
you. I
reason we
wasn't saying
invited
that
you on
to-
the show, because you won Best of the Beat. Otherwise, you would have been nothing.
I'm still nothing.
That's exciting, I guess. Who is it? Is it a public vote or just
Yeah,
just
you vote
Jan Ramsey
online.
just decides? Okay. Oh, cool. Well, congratulations. That's cool. Isn't
Every
it?
year when
Yeah.
I'm nominated, I like to make a point that I don't think I'm good enough, because my teacher, Donald Harrison, is one of the baddest saxophone players on the planet, and he still lives here. And there's other cats like Aaron Fletcher, Kid Jordan, and Wes Anderson that live here that I look up to. So it's weird.
Is Wes Anderson living here at the moment?
Yeah, he lives
I
here.
thought he was living in Baton
Yeah.
Rouge. He's here.
Yeah, he's back here.
I love him
I saw
too.
him play, Sunday. He was at Snug.
He is great
Yeah.
too.
He's
But
a
you're
monster.
great as well. Let's face it.
I
Just
mean,
take a listen.
Not
to
compared to those guys.
You
man.
don't think
Those
so?
guys
Well,
are
let's be
monsters.
the judge of that, shall we?
Yeah,
What
let's
are we
hear a
listening to?
This song is Stepchildren featuring Nigel Hall on keyboards, Khris Royal and Dark Matter.
All right. We need the code. Who's parked their fancy Mercedes outside here tonight?
Me.
Is anybody we know? Not us. All right.
Yep.
What do you think?
It's a summer hit.
That's great.
That would be a great theme song.
In the middle of the winter.
Wouldn't that be a great theme for happy hour? Wouldn't it? Don't you think?
What's that?
That's a great theme
idea.
for our show.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
kinda
What's the
sound like
name
a
of the
thing.
What's the name of the record?
The name of the record is going to be Dark Matter 2. It's
Dark
the second
Matter 2,
Dark Matter
okay.
album. But
And
the
is
name
it
of the
out?
song is Stepchildren.
Stepchildren. Is it out yet?
This song is coming out on Friday. The album's coming out later this year.
Okay. Wow. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Nice job. I love that. Hey, is it about something? Did you write that about something in particular?
Actually, I did. There's this famous jazz club in Boston called Wally's, and I used to play there 3 nights a week. A lot of bands came out of there. You've heard of Lettuce and Soul Live. Well, they came out of that band.
Right.
And the Tuesday night squad was like funk night, and they called the band Wally's Stepchildren because compared to the jazz cats, they kind of treated them like stepchildren.
All right.
Or it might be because everybody sat on the steps and smoked weed on break. I don't know. But me and Nigel both came through this school. We call it the School of Wally's because a lot of people go up to Boston for Berkeley, but you really learn a lot hanging out at this club.
Yeah.
So I wrote this song about stepchildren,
Oh,
the
nice.
That's
Tuesday
nice.
night funk night at Wally's.
Hey, cool. That's a great little song. All right.
Thanks, man.
Very cool. Hey, I'm going to tell you a couple of things, and then I'm going to make Colby tell us a story, because Colby Fox is here,
I'm here.
and we got him. Colby sent us an email,
Yeah.
which is Graham DePonte, our producer, got this email, and it made us realize that we're not completely wasting our time doing this show.
Yeah,
You'd think the show is a complete and utter total waste of time, wouldn't you, Katie?
No.
Except maybe 2 or 3 people listening and heard about the urban... What's it called? Not the Urban Conservancy.
Woodlands Conservancy?
Wetlands Conservancy.
Woodlands.
Woodlands.
You got it.
So let's try it again. Woodlands Conservancy.
Wet Woodlands.
Very
And
good.
and where is that under on the internet? Woodlands Conservancy dot something or other?
Org.
Woodlands Conservancy. Okay, first of all, I'm going to tell you about Basic Swim and Gym. Do you guys know anything about that? Mm-mm. Well, if you want to go there, it's a store on Magazine Street where you can get a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout and yoga clothes with style, including bikinis, one-piece cover-ups. You'd like a cover-up, wouldn't you, Katie?
Have plenty, but
You have
can
plenty?
always have
You always
more.
need another cover-up. In fact, everything you need for the beach and poolside is at Basic Swim and Gym. It's right next to the lingerie store, Basics Underneath, on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. And thank you also to Hangover Destroyer, the only all-natural product that's medically proven to prevent a hangover. If you go to the Hangover Destroyer website, it's called hdestroyer.com, and you write the words happy hour in the coupon code, you'll get 30% off of your first order of Hangover Destroyer, and you too can seize the dawn. You a big partier, Katie? With your schizophrenic drugs, can you still get a hold of... Do you still get a hold of any of those, by the way?
What, hangovers or schizophrenic people?
Drugs that are intended for schizophrenics.
No.
You don't know anyone that can write a prescription anymore? What do they take for schizophrenics, exactly?
Actually, in my day, Thorazine was the big thing.
That sounds good.
Sounds heavy.
Remember, what were some of those shows we watched in the...
Marcus Welby,
No, I wasn't thinking of Marcus Welby.
he was on Thorazine, that's for sure. I don't know. What is Thorazine?
It's an antipsychotic.
And you can't get it anymore?
Oh, I'm sure you can still get
So
it.
what would happen if you took that and you weren't?
And you didn't need it?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
It would probably be sedating.
Okay. Okay.
But that's what we're going to do after the show.
No, thank you.
We're all going to take one.
I'm going back to the studio. You can have fun with that.
You don't want to? Do you want us to all come back and do some Thorazine and hang out? I bet I could play drums if I took Thorazine.
Yeah. Play something real slow.
Everything will be a trap beat.
Did you try doing these drugs, Katie, when you were?
No.
Didn't make you do that as part of your training?
Well, I couldn't prescribe because
But you-
my background was in psychology, not psychiatry, so I was not the prescriber.
I think it would be good to try
I was
this.
like the non-medicine, promoted
about-
non-medical ways.
What about
non-medicine.
LSD? Didn't they used to give that to crazy ass people?
Microdoses, yeah. Still do,
Isn't
I
that-
think. So.
I think that was before. That
to
was
be an antidepressant,
even before
right?
my time.
LSD was before you. I don't know.
As hard as
about
that
Really?
may be for you to
I don't know.
believe.
Ah. Did you ever try that?
No.
No, I think that's
Plead the
yes.
fifth.
Okay, just checking. Anyway, so Colby wrote this email to Graham. I don't know whether to tell the story or make you tell it. You should tell it, really.
You
Seeing.
tell the part you like.
I like all of it. It's a very
That's
interesting.
some underlined right there. You clearly like some of it.
Well, I like everything about you're living in Destin. That's the most interesting part about it to me.
Yeah, I grew up in Crestview, Florida, and Destin's right beneath that. So,
How lucky can you get?
yeah.
I would love to live in Destin.
Destin's a cool place to, it has its pros and cons. A lot of traffic in the summertime, and then it turns
Right.
into a ghost town in the wintertime.
And what were your parents doing living in Destin?
My dad was the ROTC teacher at the high school where I went,
Wow.
but that was in Crestview.
That was in Crestview, which is
yeah.
just on sort of east. You keep going.
Just north. Just
No,
keep
is it-
going.
oh, it's actually inland.
Yeah, it's right on I-10.
Oh, okay.
I-10 cuts right through.
Oh, so you didn't even grow up on the beach necessarily.
No, but like once you get a driver's license and you live in Crestview, then you live in Destin because you're
Right.
you're not in Crestview for
The
long.
inland suburb of Destin should be called Destiny.
Destiny. They have a
like
division
Destiny.
called Destiny.
Yeah.
There's Destiny by the Sea.
Destiny by the Sea. Yeah.
Right. So you're growing up there on the beach, which I think must be pretty cool. Wouldn't you guys think? Isn't that all our dream to
Sounds
grow
nice.
up in a
It
little
was, it's
beach
cool.
town?
It's a good place to grow up because you got the beach, but you also have all of Eglin Reservation right there. So you got a lot of woods to run through.
Right.
It was a good place to grow up.
All right.
So
what
we get
happened.
to. So you grew up there and you went to school.
I went to school.
Did
and
you go off to
then
college somewhere?
I went to the university. No, not the university. It was Okaloosa Walton Community College. I did a couple unsuccessful semesters there, and I joined
That's-
the Navy.
What do you mean unsuccessful? You weren't smart enough to pass community college in Florida?
No.
Holy shit.
No.
Were you worried about your own mental abilities at that point?
And that's why I joined the Navy, yeah.
Wow.
I joined the Navy. I was a helicopter mechanic in the Navy.
That's pretty scary. The guy wasn't smart enough to pass community college in Florida,
Yeah.
but going to have him repair the helicopters for the military.
Yeah, well, they were a lot like me.
But that must be actually hard work, I would think, and detailed and
It's
exact.
pretty tricky, yeah, and I lost a lot of sleep thinking, like, did I put everything back the way it was supposed to go? Did I?
Did I kill those guys who were taken off in the Osprey?
Nobody died. Nobody died.
So you can't be as dopey as you thought then.
No.
So
No,
what
no.
was the reason you didn't pass community college? You're not a good test taker or something?
I got in that mode. Like, my dad taught at my high school, so for 4 years, everybody's able to skip school, and I'm not able to skip school. So I
You're
started
not
going.
supposed to skip school. You're supposed to go to school to get an education.
You're supposed to go to school. I'm looking back on it, but you can't tell an 18, 19-year-old kid.
Well, you shouldn't still be in school at 19, dude. That's a bad sign, right?
No, but I mean, that's when I was going to the community college.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you had, so you got a real education in high school because you didn't skip.
Yeah.
So I see what you're getting at. You weren't really paying attention by the time you got to community college.
Yeah.
You were just goofing off.
I was goofing off a lot, yeah.
Were you doing a lot of drugs?
No, I was not doing
You
that.
weren't. Thorazine? No Thorazine?
No, we didn't
What?
have Thorazine in Crestview.
No, that would be hard to get probably.
Had a lot of
You didn't-
mushrooms because there's a lot of cows.
Oh, so you could go pick mushrooms.
Well, I didn't, but a lot of people did.
What did you do?
I was a good kid.
Why didn't you pass?
I wasn't that good of a kid. I passed high school.
Yeah, but were you goofing off and just not going to class? And
Not in high school. I was goofing off in community college.
in community college. That's what
Yeah.
I mean. No, you passed high school fine.
Yeah,
So if you'd applied yourself, you would have been able to get through community college.
I definitely would have. Yeah, you're sounding like my dad.
Okay. Because Okaloosa Community College, it doesn't sound that difficult.
No, I don't think it was very difficult. A lot of
What-
people get through it.
Yeah, I would think. So, but
Yeah.
were you concerned that you were pretty stupid at this
I
point?
would no, not
What
at
did you
all. I
think?
just wanted to go somewhere else. Wanted to get out of Crestview.
So where did you get to?
So when I
is
joined
it?
the Navy, they sent me to Japan. I
Of
lived in Japan
course.
for 3 years. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then San Diego, and then the Arabian Gulf, and then I got out of the Navy.
I'm not sure what the Arabian Gulf is, but it sounds great. What does it look like?
It's flat.
Is it like Saudi Arabia?
Like it's over there. Yeah, like where Dubai is.
Yeah. That
Yeah, we
sounds
went
good.
to Dubai and
What do you do all day exactly when you're in the Arabian Gulf?
not a lot. 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Fix helicopters while you're awake. Try to sleep when you're not at work.
That's it.
And that's it for 6 months.
Okay. Do you make a lot of money?
Yeah, you make a lot of money because working on an aircraft carrier, they pay you extra for being in a dangerous job position. Being in a combat zone, they pay you more on top of that, and they don't tax any of it.
That's
Nice.
pretty cool. So how much
pretty
did you
good.
make in 6 months? Would you
I
say?
mean, not enough that I.
Not enough that you want to do it for another 6 months.
No, I want to do it again.
So how much is it? Like 50 grand, 100 grand, or what?
I think when I came back from sea, I had like between $5,000 and $6,000. Just kind of.
That's it.
Well,
Five
like,
or
that's-
$6,000.
That's it, but I wasn't making a lot because I was a
Chris
lower
makes that in a
enlisted
night
guy.
selling Thorazine outside.
Well, Chris earns it.
Okay, so you finish that. So you finish the military.
Yeah, I got out of the military.
With
moved around a
$5,000
little.
bucks.
Yeah.
That's a sad situation right there. With no education now, you have no skills because you flunked out of community college,
Yeah.
and all you can do is fix helicopters,
Right.
which is a limited. Actually,
That's a pretty
that would
good
be a
skill.
pretty. I would think that would be a pretty good skill. And I'm going to revise that to go with
It
Chris
just
on
wasn't
that.
for me because, like, again, it was really stressful thinking about if I did everything right. A helicopter is just a million pieces of metal trying
Yeah.
to pull themselves apart from one another.
But don't you get confident after a while? You've done it for a couple of
I
years.
never did.
You didn't. So you're a very sort of a sensitive kind of person.
I'm kind of sensitive.
You're sort of a warrior.
A warrior?
Warrior.
Yeah, yeah. I thought you said a warrior.
A warrior. Well, you were a warrior actually. You were in the military.
I was kind of both.
A worrying warrior, yeah.
I was
Yeah.
A little bit of
So
both.
it's not a good place for a person who's sort of nervous.
No.
The military, especially
No.
fixing.
Big pieces
sensitive
of very
equipment.
expensive things that fly.
Right.
Yeah.
What attracted you to it in the first, or did they tell you that's what you were going to do?
No, I wanted to do it because I wanted to travel around, and this was about 2001, so I assumed we were going to war, and I didn't want to go to war like on the ground. Like if people were going to be shooting, I wanted to be on a boat.
Well, take
Smart.
us back to 2001. Who were you fighting?
We were
This
just
was
about
right
to go
after,
to war with.
right after 9/11.
Yeah, we were just about to go after Saddam Hussein, and we were looking at Afghanistan, and whoever else crossed our path.
And had you just joined the military at this point?
No. I joined after 9/11.
After all that happened?
Yeah, I was
So you must have
inspired.
known what you were inspired by
Yeah.
death and carnage too.
Well, not the death and carnage, but the whole patriotic fervor that the whole
Really?
country was wrapped up in. Yeah,
Wow, the flag. Remember the whole flag thing?
flag and the pies and baseball.
Yeah, you couldn't even.
Patriots won the Super Bowl that year.
That's
They
fun.
did. You couldn't even buy an American flag anywhere in the country because everybody
were all
had
gone.
bought. Yeah,
Everybody was buying.
that was
5
quite
at a
an
time.
era. Now you have the opposite problem.
Yep.
That is pretty unbelievable. So you were a patriot. How old were you at this point? 20?
2000. I was 20. Yeah.
So you're 20. You didn't have anything else going on.
Nope.
And America needed defending.
I did it.
So you thought, damn it, I'm going to do it. And your dad was an ROTC teacher, so I guess you had some sort of military kind of background.
Kind of. Yeah. He was in the Army, so when I joined the Navy, he said he'd rather
awesome.
have. What did he say? He said he'd rather have a daughter in a Cathouse than a son in the Navy.
Oh, right. I have to write that down. Did he make that up, or is that...
I guess he made it up. He makes a lot of stuff up.
I like that. I'd rather have a daughter in the cat house than a son in the Navy.
Yeah.
I like that he still used the word cat house. That's a brothel, right?
Yeah, I think so. I guess.
Wow.
I put that together, but I'd never heard that before.
I think that must have been an old World War II type.
I think it's a
term.
John Wayne thing. My dad watches a lot of John Wayne.
Ah. I'd rather have a daughter in the cat house than a son in the Navy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to use that for
Maybe
something.
you just made that up just for you. Do you think? you
Maybe
just
he
made
did.
that up?
Maybe he was
Yeah.
inspired because he was
Yeah.
so angry.
Is he
No, but
ashamed?
No. He got on board with it too when the war started. That instead of, he had been in
do things
Vietnam.
on a boat, but
Yeah.
you could
He'd
still-
been in Vietnam.
He'd been in Vietnam, so he kind of knew what was going to go on, and he was relieved that I was in relative safety.
So you decided that the best thing to do would be on a boat? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
Why did you come to that conclusion? You
People were
wouldn't-
shooting each other everywhere else.
Right.
I didn't want to do that.
So what did you want to do exactly?
I really wanted to go in to be a journalist, and when I went and talked to recruiters, I said I want to be a journalist in the military, like in Full Metal Jacket, or nothing else. And they said, "What about a helicopter mechanic?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that."
That was easy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was an easy sell.
What did you think would happen if you were a journalist? You think you've got the constitution for that?
Like you have like the romanticized ideas of it that you're going to be like the guy in Full Metal Jacket or some beat reporter running around taking pictures in war zones. But
But I thought you didn't want to be around the bullets.
I was a conflicted 20-year-old. But the journalists that I met while I was in the Navy hated life because they're just writing morale fluff pieces. The ones that I met. I'm sure there's some doing serious stuff.
I see. If you were a journalist for the New York Times or the Wall Street
Those
Journal.
guys get the cool stories.
Yeah, I
Everybody
see.
else has to write about the cat show at the Wives Club or something.
Right.
Oh, really? So then the Navy has their own journalists.
Like the whole military has
And,
their own
okay, and where does that stuff go? That's like press releases.
press releases, some of it, yeah. The Navy has its own newspaper. Each base has their own newspaper.
Okay, so we're running out of time. Can you believe this? We're running out of time here. So this is not even part of the story that we got
No,
any
I
of
can
this.
tell this is a tangent.
Story.
I don't even, you know.
We have to go a little bit longer. Okay, so anyway, so you come back from the war,
I came back from the ship.
from the ship,
Yeah.
not being in war.
Right.
Well, you were in a war zone. And
Yeah.
you're living at Destin again.
I was living in Destin again. I was bouncing around a couple of places. I lived in Boston for a little while. I lived in Quincy and Alston and a couple of places. And then I was back in Destin, and I was just going through like a difficult time, like people go through. And I was sleeping on one of my friend's couches, and I was thinking like I wanted to get out of Destin because I didn't have any money. And I decided I have to go somewhere that I can get to on one tank of gas. So it was either New Orleans or Tallahassee, which now in retrospect, no decision. Like it's a no-brainer. But I had friends in both places. So I had just discovered Stitcher, and I was listening to a lot of podcasts, and I decided I'll listen to a podcast about each place. So Tallahassee didn't have any kind of lifestyle podcast at that point. But I found you guys I found the It's New Orleans Happy Hour podcast and all of the It's New Orleans programs. And I liked Happy Hour best, and I just really liked this show. Like I liked what did I say in that email? That ordinary, or what sounded like extraordinary people were just ordinary New Orleanians.
Right.
And I've definitely found that to be the case.
Listen to this. This is what you wrote. On nights when I couldn't sleep, which were many back then, I would charge up my phone and walk down the beach, an episode in one direction, and then turn around and listen to another episode on my way home. I like listening to Grant and Andrew talk to people who seemed as though they were ordinary, New Orleanians, but from what I was hearing, sounded like extraordinary people.
Yeah.
I decided that I wanted to come live in a city that seemed to be so full of character.
You heard it here, folks.
How about that? Isn't that great, though? We think we're just making these stupid shows, and no one's
Yeah.
listening, or, a few people listening here and there, but actually change someone's life.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
And you're looking right at them.
There it is.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's pretty cool, isn't it, don't you think? So someone could be listening to this show, Khris, and decide to shoot themselves
I hope they
because
don't.
there's no hope.
Don't do it.
25% of the forest is left.
Exactly. I think that's a pretty... when we read this and Graham sent me this email, I'm like, my goodness, that's incredible that actually you can have these dopey conversations in a bar in New Orleans and actually affect somebody in a positive way.
Well, what does that tell you about Destin?
I think Destin's
I
awesome.
love Destin.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, walks on the beach to listen to podcasts.
I'd be happy to live in Destin. But if you grow up somewhere, of course,
Right.
people say it to me about New Zealand, oh my God, I'd love to live in New Zealand. I'm like, oh, you really?
Yeah.
Give it a shot sometime.
Right.
Nothing against anyone who happens to be listening to this show, of course, in New Zealand, but it's not for everybody.
Right.
I guess Destin's the same. Most of us would love to move to the beach, right? Chris, wouldn't you?
I love the beach. I actually
Me
go
too.
to Destin probably about 3 or 4 times a summer. My friend has a studio out there.
Nice.
You know Donnie?
Donnie-
Donnie Sundell?
I don't
Buka
think,
Groove?
Don't
We,
think so.
we need
There's
to
an-
find out more about him, seeing he has a
You
place
should
in
have
Destin.
Donnie on.
Okay.
Come on.
We
man.
let us stay in his place in Destin.
We gotta
That's
get
the
him.
main-
We gotta get
Oh,
his
nice
Donnie.
spot.
Donnie's got a
Studio.
place in Destin. Let's get to.
Should do a podcast from there.
We can go. Yeah, we should. Absolutely.
talking.
And we can go
it's a
stay
great
at
place
your
to
place.
visit, but like think about the minutia, like going grocery shopping or having to go to the bank.
Grocery shopping, go Publix.
Yeah, you can go to
You
Publix
picked
and
the
get a
wrong
great
thing.
Cuban sandwich from Publix.
Yeah, Publix is the fucking bomb.
Ready-made,
I don't know, dude.
grab and go. I love Publix now.
Me too. Don't you love Publix?
No, I can't.
But in the middle
Compared
of
to Winn-Dixie?
to
or-
go there in the middle of summer, like just
Oh, I
to
see
do
what
your
you're saying,
regular
yeah.
everyday running around stuff, you're looking at like an hour and 45 minutes added to your routine. Just
It is
That's
totally
the
fucked up.
traffic.
That Highway 98 is the
Yeah.
worst. I'll give you
Yeah.
that. But that's all because all people from New Orleans and Nashville and everywhere are going on vacation. But it's only for 2 or 3 months a year.
No, it's for a lot of the year.
Is it really?
Yeah, from spring break to like late October, because people who don't have kids are the ones who flood the beaches after school starts.
You said the word flood like it's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
What about if you move to like Highway 30A, like along between Seaside and Brayton
Even
Beach?
that is like really congested. I worked at a place in Seaside over by Bud and Alley's, and just like you'd have to incorporate all this extra time to drive around looking for a parking spot.
Yeah. Do they have Uber out there now?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I think they do.
They do. They have Uber in Destin. Okay. Andrew, why are you yawning? What's wrong? You tired?
Oh, sorry. No, man.
Staying up too late?
No, I just had first beer of the day, so I'm just getting started.
You're
browsing.
winding up.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, well, how much time have we got here? Like none, basically. Holy shit. Hey, Katie, so what do we miss? So, Colby, what are you doing in New Orleans now? How long have you been here?
I've been here since 2013.
Right, so 5 years.
5 years.
No, that can't be right. 4. Well,
Four.
math is not a strong
now.
point.
4 now, not 5 years.
I can't believe that you agreed with that,
college.
though. Yeah.
I've bounced around. I've enjoyed the city.
What have you been doing?
I worked at the House of Blues for a while. I saw Andrew at House of Blues one night in the Foundation Room.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
And you played a song that I really liked that I had heard on the podcast, the one They Don't Make Them Anymore like they used to. I love that song.
Thanks.
Hey, you
dude.
want to hear it
Full
right
circle.
now?
Yeah.
What about it?
We got time? dude?
Yeah.
Well, all right. Hold on.
Come on, then. This would be like a dream come true.
It's a dream come true.
This is funny that you heard Happy Hour and now you're on Happy Hour.
Now I'm on it.
Now you can be an inspiration for other people.
It's meta.
It is.
What's your favorite thing about New Orleans?
Oh, man, the food. The food is great.
What about women?
Women are great. I have a girlfriend.
Did you come with her or did you meet her here?
I met her here.
All right. How did you meet her?
Tinder.
Tinder.
Yeah,
Awesome.
the dating app Tinder.
Yeah.
We're a Tinder success story. We've been together for 3 years now.
Wow.
That is a success
Tinder's
story.
been out for 3 years.
How did you and Kristen meet?
Oh, we went to high school together.
You went to Noka?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh my God, you've been
I
together all that
actually
time?
am responsible for getting her kicked out of Noka.
Way to go.
I thought you were going to say something else, but
No. Yes.
You got
At the
kicked out
time,
of
the,
Noka? What are
the
you talking
disciplines
about?
were really. It was like if you were in class school, you didn't do jazz. So
Yeah.
we had her come sing a jazz song with us for performance class, and her teachers kicked her out.
wow, is that
Yeah.
right? That's pretty narrow-minded, I would
Yeah,
say.
it's different now, but back then,
That wasn't that long ago, though. Was it? Hang on,
2002.
I guess that's quite a while now. Hang on a sec, Andrew. I'm just going to spin this around. Okay, so Colby, tell us something about the song.
Yeah, intro this for us.
Yeah, the intro for this song. It's just about appreciating old things and things that have a soul. And there's a line in it that I really liked that you take it apart and put it back together until you've done that. It's not really yours.
Like helicopters,
Like helicopters. I never owned a helicopter.
right? Oh, well. Yeah, it's called They Don't Make Them Like They Used to. Goes like this. Oh, Mr. Joe's been fixing cars long as I remember, fender to fender, full engine overhauls. His pride and joy is that old view. Only time he'll ever use it is to drive his wife to church and the grocery store, like they've done 30 years of Sundays before. And they don't make them like they used to anymore. Everything they know, they learn from the Second World War. Broken strings, broken hearts, take them apart and put them back together. Drive your best girl around forever in an old Skylark, 'cause they don't make them like they used to anymore. Yeah, and I know Sal down at the music shop. He's a modern day Geppetto. Instead of boys, he fixes cellos and my guitar. They give a smile when I walk in. Take a break and get to talking about the way things got to be the way they are. They say just keep playing them old blues on that old guitar, 'cause they don't make them like they used to
anymore. Everything they know, they learn from the Second World War. Broken strings, broken hearts, take them apart and put them back together. Drive your best girl around forever in an old Skylark. 'Cause they don't make them like they used to now. They don't make them like they used to anymore. Bad habits we fell into, trading old for brand new, till a man can't fix a damn thing anymore. I gotta hand it to my dad and his before, 'cause they don't make them like they used to anymore. Everything they know, they learn from the Second World War. Broken strings, broken hearts, take them apart and put them back together. Drive your best girl around forever in an old Skylark. 'Cause they don't make them like they used to now. They don't make them like they used to now. They don't make them like they used to anymore.
Thanks, Yarrow.
Whoa, very nice,
Great.
Andrew. Off the album, is that on the Moorings?
No, that'll be out the next one.
Oh, it's on the new one coming up.
Yeah, that doesn't exist yet.
Oh, well, okay, that we're still looking for a title for it. You got a good idea for a title, Colby, for
I like
Andrew's
that
new album?
long one that we were talking about earlier, the one that's too wordy.
Yeah, what was it again? That was before we went on.
Something about if you get halfway there every day, you'll never make it.
Yeah. That's another good encouraging. So, yeah, if every day you get halfway there, you'll never make it. That's a great bumper sticker. Did you make that up?
Well, not the
I was saying.
sentiment. I think a math teacher told me about it.
The number line.
It's good, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it when you talk about, you know, a little bit every day is what, you know, creative folks,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
people who are self-driven have to deal with the idea of let's be productive every day. But I also like the more cynical view. If you get halfway there every day, you'll never make it.
I like it, too. Maybe we'll call this show that. Maybe, guys, we've come to the end of another happy hour. Katie, thanks so much for joining us. Katie
fun.
Brasted has been here, and if you want to go and check out the Woodlands Conservancy, is that right?
That's right.
I got that right without even looking. The Woodlands Conservancy, it's at woodlandsconservancy.org. And if you happen to listen to this before the 2nd of February 2017, you can go and support them at the Jazz Playhouse in Aretha Castle Haley.
New Orleans
And-
Jazz Market.
At the
Right.
no, Jazz Market. That's a different one altogether, but it's the same person. And you can help save the wetlands. And
Be awesome.
if we get saved from a hurricane, we can thank you for that. So
Right.
thanks in advance, because this year is going to be the worst hurricane season ever.
Is that right?
Hopefully not.
I think it's going to complete destroy the city.
No, it's not. It won't.
Or not. Or maybe it won't then. Okay.
I think we said that
let's
last
say
year.
it won't. No, this is going to be the best year. I think hurricane season's cancelled, actually, this year.
Oh, sweet.
Due to lack of interest. So
Yeah,
don't
cool.
worry
Let's
about
go to
that.
Destin.
It'll be fine. Colby Fox, thank you so much for that inspiring tale.
I had such a great time. Thanks for having
It's great to meet you, and
as well.
we'll look forward to keeping up with you, actually. I wonder what will happen next. I wonder what other podcasts you'll listen to and end up living some other weird
One from
place.
Tallahassee that might pull you there. You know?
Well, there's an opening there in Tallahassee for us to make a podcast, apparently. And Khris Royal from Khris Royal and Dark Matter has been here. Khris, thanks for joining. If you haven't got our website up and you're just wondering how to go find Khris, it's spelled Khris, by the way. Khris Royal and Dark Matter. The album's coming out later in the year, and we can find the earlier stuff, Khris Royal and Dark Matter 1, up there on Spotify and all the other places you can steal music from. So thanks very much for joining us. That was Happy Hour. I'm next week, you know. Peter Raschuti,
Oh, yeah.
who's the host of Out to Lunch, is sitting in for me
That ought to be fun.
and hosting Happy Hour. That should be pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
So make sure you come back for that next week. Our show this week is produced by Graham DePonte, and Christian Unruh is our music director. Our music producer is Jean Valois, and Thomas Walsh is our technical director. Our live feed directors are the fabulous Asher Griffith and Grayson Jernigan. Thanks for watching this on Facebook if you've been watching it. If you haven't, you can go back to our Facebook page, itsneworleans.com, just It's New Orleans, on Facebook, and you can see this whole thing live if you want to. Our theme music was written by and is currently being played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show and you can sit upright for approximately 60 minutes and drink alcohol, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can find tons of other happy hours to listen to, as well as some other shows we make here. Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, who's going to be hosting Happy Hour next week. That's live from Commander's Palace, True to the Game, with Chris True. Midnight Menu +1 with Margot Moss and the Man Who Ate New Orleans, Ray Canada. Louisiana Eats with Poppy Chuka. Milo's Music Parlor with Kim Vu. The podcast about death, which is simply called Death the Podcast, with psychologist Dr. Arian Alfant. And Questions from the Waiting Room with psychiatrist Nick Paget. We have quite a lot of psycho-type stuff on here, Katie. You should keep up with that. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at itsacadiana.com. And it's BatonRouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook, as I mentioned, on Twitter as well, and a bunch of other time-sucking social media. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans. You can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. Those photos are taken today by Catherine King. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, take a moment to stop and tell other people how to find us by rating and reviewing us. That does help other people find us. Thanks for subscribing to us if you listen to us on your favorite podcast app. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on Ferret Street in Uptown New Orleans, where they have a 3-hour happy hour every day and brunch on the weekends. Happy Hour's a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For Andrew Duhon, everybody else around the table here at Wayfare and back at our office at INO Broadcasting. Thanks for joining us. I'm Grant Morris. We'll see you back here next week on Happy Hour.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.